Much like the film Death of Superman, All-Star Superman is a film all about the end of the Man of Steel. Except the name of the film doesn't completely give away the ending, although we do find out he's dying pretty early on in the film. In All-Star Superman, Superman goes into space to save a group of Earth's astronauts. But this is all a trap orchestrated by Lex Luthor, who has worked out how to kill Superman once and for all. Using the astronauts as bait, Luthor has lured Superman so close to Earth's sun that his body is supercharged with solar energy like never before. So much energy in fact that his body can't even contain it. And Superman is stronger than ever, and he even has new superpowers as well, including expanding his bioelectric field, which is essentially his body's shield that makes him invulnerable, and he can now extend it to envelop others, as he does to save the astronauts. And Superman is even immune to kryptonite. But even so, even though he is so powerful, he's been poisoned by this power, and so it is slowly destroying his body.
Your cells are oversaturated with power. They are bursting from within.
Making him stronger than ever to begin with, but towards the end he grows sicker and he grows weaker. And this film carries out his final days as Superman, as he gets his affairs in order before finally succumbing and passing on. And what makes this Superman's best death is the fact that he does get his affairs in order. In Death of Superman, his death is rather rushed in my opinion. Yeah, there is a big fight, but the death just happens very matter-of-factly, and the funeral and such is very quick, and then that's that. And since the film is titled Death of Superman, it didn't really have any stakes to it, as we all know that he was going to die, and then he would be brought back in the sequel. And because we know for sure what's going to happen, it lowers the drama significantly. Whereas throughout all of All-Star Superman, I genuinely thought he was going to find a way to beat his illness. But he doesn't. He actually dies. And his death doesn't just happen in some random battle like it normally does. Instead, he sees it coming, he's been given his notice, he knows his condition is terminal, and so he goes and he gets his affairs in order. He comes to terms with the fact that he's no longer going to exist, and we see how the Man of Steel would seriously face his own mortality. A concept which must be completely alien to him. I mean, he doesn't even get hurt if he stabs himself with a knife, so actually dying is probably something that he hasn't really thought about that much. True, in the New 52 comic Death, he does get his affairs in order before he dies. But really, we only see him say a few goodbyes and see him do a few good deeds. We never really see him setting up everything. Whereas in All-Star Superman, he takes the bottle city of Kandor, for example, and takes it to another planet so the people there are going to be safe. He gets everything in order so that when he's gone, nothing's going to fall apart. The film is interesting, engaging, it makes you care about the characters, and it has high stakes. And as such, it is one of the more complex and much more interesting Superman films that has ever been made. And it also has my favourite line ever from a Superman film.
Sorry, Lois. The last thing I wanted on your special day was a reptile invasion from the Earth's core.
Though I do have to say that Superman's death is not a 100% death, as Superman does sort of live on in a different form. His body changes into pure energy, and he flies into the sun to repair it, after a scheme of Luthor's ends up with it being damaged. But I still count this as him dying, as his body is gone, and when anyone loses their body, they are dead. Okay, his mind might have lived on in a different form, but his body is gone, and most people think that's actually what happens in the afterlife when we humans die, so he is definitely dead. Though in Superman's case, after spending 15,000 years in Earth's sun, he does eventually return as a character that is virtually identical to the Prime 1 Million Superman. Some people have said it is just the Prime 1 Million Superman, some say it's just virtually identical. We never really get a clear answer on whether it is him or not. But for those who don't know, the Prime 1 Million Superman is the most powerful version of Superman across the entire multiverse, making him essentially the strongest being that exists in the whole of the multiverse. Although we don't actually see this happen in the film, we only see it happen in the comics. In the film, he just dies and we get the end credits. But it's still a damn good film and a damn good death.